Well, it's time to give my opinion. Probably gonna make a few people upset. Which stereotypically in this industry, especially on the archery side, it's pretty easy to do. Well, today I'd like to go over some of 2025's hottest bows from all the different manufacturers and tell you which ones that I'm a big fan of and the ones I'm not such a big fan of and my reasons why. I'm going to go down the list from all the top manufacturers, their 2025 bows. A lot of them I have here, some of them I don't, but I have shot, and I'm going to give you the reasons why I like some of these bows and reasons why I don't care for a couple of them. Once again, this is opinion, but I'm going to back it up with facts and why I don't like it. I don't just not like a brand because of the brand. There has to be a reason. I've said it before in a couple other videos, I'm a boho. I hold no allegiance to anybody. Yes, I have some that I'm a little bit more partial to because I shoot those particular brands better, but I'll shoot anything you throw at me, except that $199 bar net from Walmart. That thing's dangerous. The Bowtech Proven 34-inch axle to axle. I'll have to double check the brace height. It comes in two different cams. Comes in a long draw cam and a short draw cam. I shot them both. The draw cycle on both of them was delicious. I liked it a lot. It holds on target really well, but on the shot, it was a little disappointing as far as what I felt in the hand versus the bow it was based off of from 2 years ago, the SS34. I remember the specs to a T, obviously a 34-inch axle to axle, a 7-inch brace height. We sold a lot of those bows. It was a super easy drawing bow. It felt great on the shot. And once again, if I didn't know about the SS34, I probably wouldn't be complaining as much as I am about the Proven 34. Now, they both have very similar specs. They both have deadlock technology, which is, Bowtech, you can say what you want about any other bow on the market that has any kind of tuning capability. In my opinion, Bowtech is still king when it comes to shimming a bow because you don't have to shim it, you just turn an Allen key, and it makes our jobs as technicians a whole lot easier. But please don't take my word for it. I want you to go into your local pro shop and shoot it. Call me a liar in the comment section if you want. This is just my opinion, and there's going to be similar opinions on a couple other bows, so hang on to your panties. I will say I am excited to get my hands on a Virtue. We finally ordered one the other day. I've heard pretty much nothing but good things about that bow. Bowtech getting into the new material market, as I call it, with the magnesium or magnite riser, whatever they're calling it. I know several other brands are using that same material, and they have different names for it, I guess, so they don't get sued. But you can definitely be looking for a full review on that bow, hopefully in the next 2 weeks. Moving along to the Darton ST2 series, they're coming in at a 35 ATA, a 33, and a 31. So a little bit of something for everybody. And yes, Darton has been around for a hot minute. A lot of other bow companies used to pay them royalty fees for the technology that some of you guys have on your boat to this day. But in case you didn't know, they're under new ownership. The same gentleman that owns Black Eagle now owns Darton. And let me tell you something, he has taken that company leaps and bounds within 3 years of owning it, if I'm not mistaken. So last year they had the sequel series, which it was just a super solid platform. Randy, the owner of Darton now and Black Eagle, like I said earlier, he's really big into the target game. So he wanted some beefier risers, some long axle-to-axle bows, and just a good steady platform to shoot off of, and that's what he built. And then he took it over to the ST2 series, which pretty much has all the same features. What he added as far as advancements in tuning technology in such a short period of time of being behind the captain's wheel was very impressive. It's the perfect tune and perfect timing, if I'm not mistaken. I think there are actually more detailed names than that. That to me just boom. I mean, there's some bow companies out there, not many, that have been behind the 8 ball as far as adding some ease of tuning mechanisms to their bows. That have had the opportunity to do it for years potentially, but Randy did it in 3 years, which tells me that he pays attention to what the consumer is looking for and to what the pro shops are asking for to make our jobs easier. As far as the draw cycle, how it holds on target, how it shoots, it is a very dead in the hand bow. The draw cycle, I have the 35 here personally. It draws like butter. The 35 is a great dual option bow for a target shooter and a bow hunter. Or if you're just a tall individual that wants to bow hunt, that's probably what I would recommend. The rotating mod, the speed mods that already come with the bows, I mean, just it's everything you could ask for, and it's a lower price point than any other flagship bow on the market right now, if I'm not mistaken. Gonna keep bouncing it back and forth between bows I have here and bows I don't have here. So let's talk about the Mathews Lyft X. Definitely a bigger fan of the 33. I am more partial towards longer axle to axle bows. A 33 to 34 is kind of my sweet spot. I will say today I actually shot one perfectly set up for me, and it really actually felt pretty decent on the draw cycle. I haven't been a huge fan of the new cam system since the Lyft. I liked the Phase 4, the V3X, the V3, all of those. But when they came out with the Lyft, I noticed a huge hump towards the end of the draw cycle that I personally was not a fan of. Now, I get it, between a shorter brace height and a more aggressive design cam, they were chasing speed and they got it. So that I expect that from that particular bow, but that's just not my cup of tea. But today I actually had a customer come in who had a Lyft 33X that was set up perfectly to my specs, 70 pounds, 29-inch draw. And we were talking about the draw cycle, and I was explaining to him how I wasn't a fan of that hump towards the end. And he said, yeah, it's a little bit more exaggerated on the 85% let off mods, which is what I had the opportunity to shoot. He said, mine are the 80s. Let's let you shoot it. I'll try anything once, twice if I ain't sure about it. So I shot his bow, and I will definitely have to say, with the 80% let off mods versus the 85s, the hump in the back of the end that I've been complaining about was a lot less exaggerated. I could still feel it a little bit, but that was mainly because I knew it was there and I was looking for it. But when you drew the bow back pretty quick like you normally would, it was definitely a much more delightful shooting experience. And I will definitely have to give Mathews credit for this. I was so happy to see them get away from those stupid top hats. I shouldn't say stupid, they work, don't get me wrong, but coming from somebody that's been working with some bows that you can shim and tune with an Allen key versus top hats and taking the cams off and all that good jazz, I was very happy when they came out with their new limb shift technology. So to sum up what I think about the Mathews 33, and once again, I haven't shot all the different Mathews, but if I was going to shoot one, it would definitely be the 33. Big fan of the new tuning technology. As far as the draw cycle, like I said, I found one today that I could shoot if I really wanted to. I liked it a whole lot better. But once again, that particular style bow built around speed is not necessarily my forte, but I know a lot of people out there really like it. Moving on to two bows, one I have here, one I've got a couple at the shop. That would be the PSE Mach 33 and PSE Decree. We're going to talk about the Mach 33 first. That is actually a bow that I added to my personal collection this year. This is the first carbon bow that I've ever found the value in based off the price point. For years, I've always said, carbon obviously does the job. I get it. It's not cold when you grab it for those late January hunts, which is really nice. But for me personally, I've never thoroughly enjoyed shooting one until I got my hands on that. It is unlike any other carbon bow I've shot for the past couple years, and I've shot them all from, like I said, a couple years ago to present day 2025. And that one right there, between draw cycle and how it feels on the shot, even shooting my super light tack arrows, it's very impressive. I would highly recommend trying one out. A super easy cam to work on overall. The Evolve cam has always been, basically a meat and potatoes as far as simplicity goes and performance goes for the past couple years. I mean, you got a rotating mod. You can set your let off from 90 to 85 to 80%. And even with that grip, which I wasn't a fan of the way it looked until I got my hands on it, and it ended up being a very repeatable grip for me, and I shoot that bow extremely well. Moving on to the PSE Decree, coming in at a 31.5-inch axle to axle, 6.25-inch brace height. This bow actually surprised me as far as being how short it was. It still had a pretty decent string angle. I'm still not 100% sure on the grip. It definitely sets itself apart from other bow grips on the market today. I don't want to say it's funky, but it takes a little getting used to. It's not what I'm used to personally. That would really be my only complaint about that bow. Other than that, it feels great on the shot. The draw cycle, for as short of a bow as it is, not saying it's the shortest because it's obviously not. It's short for me. The draw cycle on it is actually pretty delightful. It's a bow that I could shoot a lot. The price point's right there with all the other aluminum flagship bows as well, and still has the Evolve cam, which, like I said about the Mach 33 SD, it's just a diesel engine, easy to work on, and it just flat out kills deer. Now we're going to switch back to bows that I am not a dealer for and that I do not have in my personal arsenal, but I have shot. And let me tell you something, boys and gals. I don't know what Hoyt was trying to accomplish this year other than speed. But in comparing the RX-9 to the RX-8, And the AX2 to the Alpha series from last year, it's just night and day. And you can go ahead and call me a hater in the comment section if you want, but I honestly, I had so many people give me that same information that I just gave y'all before I actually got my hands on these bows to actually shoot them. Because I'm not gonna lie, the RX8, that was a sweet shooting bow. The Alpha series, I like those pretty good too. But I mean, I was actually a pretty big fan of the RX8 as far as the draw cycle, how it felt on the shot. But the RX9 and the AX2s, I don't know what happened there. Drop a comment and let me know if you disagree. I'd be curious to know what you guys have to say about it. But as of right now, between switching cams, going back to a mod-specific cam for the most part, not having any advancements in tuning technology, yeah, ouch. And of course, we're going to talk about Prime and how they went out on a limb this year and created a bow that evidently I don't have it on great authority, but supposedly other bow manufacturers had tried this hybrid, so to speak, between the carbon rods and the aluminum, and they were just the first ones to actually accomplish it, and so far make it work. We'll go ahead and touch on the RVX Plus that came out with it this year as well. Available in a 32, a 34. The RVX Plus is literally just a revamp of the RVX from last year. Nothing overly crazy. Same specs, same cams. The only biggest difference is going to be a narrower limb pocket, which is kind of interesting to me since there for a hot minute, a lot of other company or all pretty much all the other bow companies wanted a wider limb pocket, and Prime went the other direction. And of course, when the form came out, I knew about it a little bit before launch. I was very curious to see what people's reaction was going to be, and it was pretty spot on. In the beginning, I think more people hated it aesthetically and just thought it was an ugly bow, and the rods are going to snap, they're going to twist out, it's not going to work. Well, here we are quite a few months later, and I'm pushing almost 1,000 shots out of mine with 0 issues so far. Me personally, I was of course a little biased and extremely excited when they went with a 34-inch axle-to-axle platform, because that is my sweet spot. That's the bow that I shoot the best. So I was very happy to see that. And I mean, I got to give them props. I was a little skeptical too, because just like what you guys saw, I mean, nobody had ever done this before. We didn't know what to expect, but I applaud them for trying something different. And I don't know how long they've actually been working on this project in particular, but I assume it's been put through the ringer before it came to market, obviously. And so far, it seems to be working for them. And if you think about it, it really makes sense when you've got those carbon rods that take roughly 6,000 to 8,000 pounds of pressure to snap versus a carbon riser that takes 2,000 pounds of pressure to snap, and you put them strategically in the spots on a riser that has the most flex in it, you now have the stiffest riser you can almost possibly get, I assume. Once again, boys and gals, this is just my opinion about these bows for 2025 that I've shot and spent a little bit of time with. My word is not law, and don't let it deter you from shooting any of the bows that I've mentioned or even not mentioned. Go into your local pro shop, shoot them all, shoot as many as you can, get your own opinion, and find what works best for you.